Hello. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to your midday, morning, evening, whatever time you might be hopping on. Welcome to this space. I want to talk about something and how it's really important and how it is that you learn to up level yourself so that you can be fit for love in your marriage, relationship, intimate partnership, relationship with a lover, a parent, a child, whoever it may be. Because what we know, and what most of you know who are in this space, is that until you know how to embody an active way of loving yourself, you will not experience love with anyone else. You won't have the kind of connection, the kind of passion that you want out there. That it's a fallacy to believe that if you find the right person, that they will make you feel a certain way. The truth is, you cultivate that relationship with your own self, with your own heart, in a real embodied way. And you'll hear me use that word so often here because it's a daily practice. I spoke earlier this week about the importance of devoting yourself to yourself. In some circles, they call that sacred selfishness. Devoting yourself deeply to yourself. That's an act of love. That steadfast showing up every single day. And so today I want to talk about when you do show up, one of the practices that you can have to make it simple and easy. I think we're so often, those of us who are in the kind of self-help, healing therapy space, it can feel really overwhelming and we can feel like I'm a project. I have to work on myself. And you're not a project and you don't need to work on yourself. It's a practice of becoming, of shedding, of unlearning all the things that we sort of cobbled together to keep ourselves safe. So now that we've talked this week about the practice of devotion, we're going to talk about how to devote yourself, how to organize yourself around that devotion. If you're here on the replay, please hashtag replay, drop any comments, questions below. I would love to hear from you. For those of you who are new to my space, my name is Jenny Glick. I'm a relationship mentor. I walk women from a place of they know something needs to change in order to be the full expression of who they are so they can have the deep connection, satisfaction, love, ease, joy in their lives, to actually doing it, being it, living it, breathing it, experiencing it, because that's the point, right? So that's what I do. I have a lot of letters behind my name, but mostly I just know the way because I've been doing this for 20 plus years. So let's dive in. So it's really important to remember that your frequency is the most important thing that you walk around with every day. And I will repost that energy frequency chart. This is from Dr. David Hawkins. It's not my chart. It's from Dr. David Hawkins, who has passed about 10, 13 years ago, who's an MD, PhD. He's written loads of books. So definitely check him out if you're into very condensed reading about psychology and up-leveling yourself. But your frequency is your emotional state that you live in, right? And all of us walk around with an emotional state that we toggle into. And if you don't pay close attention, what will happen is you'll notice that your emotional state is toggled in the emotional state of the dominant sort of community or family or people around you. Okay. And so what I know from living in the US, so I'm back in the US right now. I was most recently in Mexico for a couple of years, but now I'm back here. Is that there's a lot of fear and anxiety, right? And that's been pre the last 2 years. So that's not new. It's just super turned up. This anxiety of, not enough time, not enough money, not enough love, not doing enough for my kids, not thin enough, not strong enough, not right. So that feeling of not enoughness, that's a frequency. Okay. And that frequency generates an emotional state that you live in. And that matters because it colors your life. Hi, Sue. Nice to see you here. It colors your life. And then it clicks when you have that anxiety or that fear or that worry. What happens is it clicks in your thinking. And then you start having these thoughts of, oh my gosh, I need to lose 5 pounds, or I need to get my kids fluent in Mandarin, or I need to deal with my perimenopause, or I haven't been connected with my partner for all these years, and now the kids are fixing to leave. What am I going to do? So then the thinking starts, right? And then we're in the thinking and the thinking and the thinking. And that thinking perpetuates that emotional state, right? And so those thoughts create more of that emotional state. And now here you are. And most women who I work with have been thinking about their problem for a very, very long time, which means they have been conditioning an emotional state for a very, very long time. And what you practice today is what you become tomorrow, right? The emotional state that you live in becomes your gift to the world. All of us are gifts. All of us are gifts. So what are you gifting to the world around you? Right? We can gift anxiety, fear, worry, scarcity. Notice your scarcity language. Notice how you gift others maybe scarcity. Oh, I wouldn't do that. What about this? If you are someone who runs in some fear or anxiety, notice when somebody comes in and is like, oh my gosh, I have this great idea. I'm going to do this thing, or I'm going to travel to this place, or I have this business idea. Notice what happens for you and how your words, because your emotional state, right, gets activated. And it's like, what can I say to pull this conversation back into a very familiar emotional state that I'm familiar with? And then we hear ourselves saying things like, I don't know if I would do that if I were you. Are you sure that's safe? Right? So if you are not focused on your emotional frequency, and this is something that the women who I mentor, we work with, man, they learn to be masters at this in a big way because they know that their emotional frequency is everything. And if you're not focused on your emotional frequency, and I don't mean focused like controlling, this isn't about being controlling, right? It's about opening, surrendering, relaxing, and having a gentle focus, right? I can have a really gentle focus on what it is that I intend to experience in my life. What do I intend to experience? Most women who I work with intend to experience joy, what they actually want. I shouldn't say intend. They want to experience joy, connection, passion, pleasure, alignment, delight, all of the things, fun. That's what they want. But what they intend, which is what they're falling into from a habituated state because they're unconscious to it, right? So their unconscious intention is anxiety and fear because they don't have a really clear focus on their emotional frequency. So they're allowing whatever's coming at them to dictate their emotional state, right? So they wake up in the morning and go straight for the phone. Pick up the phone. Oh my gosh. The news, the social media, a podcast, plug themselves in to a thing, look at their emails, already feel behind, rushing. So they're just reacting. So their focus isn't clear, pristine, elegant, graceful, right? It's cobbling things together, trying to figure out its survival, its scarcity. And there's no focus, intention. And if I don't hold intention right? Just like if I don't hold intention for my day, I was talking to a client about this yesterday. If I don't hold intention for my day, the whole day can be emails, cleaning, running an errand, and like, where did the day go? Because I spent the whole day reacting to somebody calling, I need to do this, 15 emails that I have to get to, or I say I have to get to because I have no intention, right? So I end up just sloppily doing whatever comes into my field. So maintaining focus on your frequency, on an elevated state, is everything. And practicing how to pivot back into that state over and over and over and over again. And as you do that, what happens is the thoughts become quiet. That frequency, that energy state becomes your new normal. And from that state of peace and internal clarity, that's a place from which you can have inspiration, right? Your old thoughts that you've been thinking for 20, 30, 40 years, there's no inspiration there. That's why you're trying to like work it out. I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to fix it, right? You're trying to fix it in your thoughts that are old. They're not inspired because those old thoughts are connected to an emotional state of anxiety, of worry, of fear, of scarcity, of not enough, of belief systems that this isn't going to work, why bother, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So those old thoughts, the more you think them, are simply going to create today what you had last week, last year, 10 years ago. And it does. That happens. That has happened in my own life. That's just how the world works. So I'm curious, and here, for those of you who are watching, what are some of the old thoughts that you tend to think? Hi, Nicole. Nice to see you, Shah. What are your old thoughts that you tend to think over and over and over again? Put them in the comments below. My old thoughts used to be, did I marry the right person? Is there somebody out there better for me? Why is this so hard? Right? So thinking about those old thoughts, what are those emotional states connected to those old thoughts, right? Did I marry the right person? That's an emotional state of fear, anxiety, worry, overwhelm. I think that thought, man, and like all these other thoughts of like, oh, but I can't leave, and the kid, and the 401k, and how we're going to split everything up, and how's this going to go, right? Total overwhelm and confusion. And then I park myself back in a place of like, ugh, never mind. I'm not going to do this. Right? Nicole says, I don't deserve to be wealthy. Yeah. Whew. That's a big one. You know, what's interesting is wealth, money. I'm doing a program right now with some of my graduates, and they're incubating their business ideas. And so after women have gone through my foundational program, I offer them all kinds of really cool advanced things that we do together. And I've been running a couple of extended workshops now on business, on growing your business. And a huge part of growing your business or coming into alignment with what your offer is, what your capital C contribution is getting healthy and clear around you with wealth, enoughness, right? Love, trusting that you get to experience relaxation, right? Because what is wealth? Whether it's wealth of money, time, health, love, passion, like that, it's enoughness. It's enoughness to really be able to put your shoulders back, relax, open-hearted, experiencing the world. But when we've conditioned ourselves into scarcity, and it's not that I'm down on our culture, but I mean, from my experience, there's a lot of cultural noise around not enoughness. Better be careful. I got a lot of this when I left to go to Mexico. You can't leave your job, your business that you started. Your husband can't leave his job. You guys aren't at retirement age. Oh, maybe I should be scared, right? And so I would love for you to write those thoughts. I think of them as your gateway thoughts, those gateway thoughts that take you to an emotional state that you're going to park in. And when you park in that state, what happens? Overwhelm and confusion, and then you don't do anything. I know that's what I used to do, right? And it is a way that we keep ourselves in jail. I put myself in my own prison. The door's wide open, but I stay there. And the way out is focusing on your frequency. Gently, not controlling, not beating yourself up, not trying to strive for perfection, but rather gently recognizing, like, what state am I toggling into? So much gratitude, really feeling the experience of so much gratitude, and let your cells feel so much gratitude in your being, in your body. Hi, Marta. Feel what that feels like to calibrate to so much gratitude. And notice, and I think many of the women who work with me, and those of you who are here can chime in if you care to, as you practice, it sounds kind of airy-fairy, but my goodness, once you practice toggling into a different emotional state over and over and over again, 45 times a day, those thoughts start to shift. They kind of fall off you. Because when I'm in a deep state of gratitude, that thought, did I marry the right person? It's not a match anymore. And in that state of gratitude, I can have inspiration, something new, right? Something new can come. Oh, what if I try this, right? What if I experience or have this new perspective? That's a really different way to live. Marta said, just like anything, it takes practice. And then somewhere along the way, something clicks and it kicks into feeling more natural. Yeah. Yeah. And it's the big difference between doing, weekly therapy. I have a lot of people who reach out to me still to do, kind of one-off therapy, or will you just see me one-on-one? And I don't do that anymore because it doesn't work the way that being in a nest with me. And I've revised my program for 2022. So it's going to be 10 weeks rather than 8 weeks. So we're going to have more time together, and having that daily time to practice that clicking in, right? You have to practice having that muscle memory, right? Retraining your body and heart, because we have so much practice around, am I with the right person? I don't deserve to be wealthy. It's never going to work out for me. Why bother? Those thoughts are so loud that it's like, Jenny, I don't even know where to find the emotional frequency. Like, what the hell are you even talking about? Right? And if you feel that way, like, what the hell are you even talking about? Right? If that feels like such a chasm, what I do is the bridge, right? And then you get to take that practice on the road in your life forever. It's just like sobriety, right? When you decide, I'm not going to drink, smoke, overshop, gamble, whatever your addiction of choice was, right? You redecide that every day. My friends who are in recovery, even if they're 30 years in recovery, they still choose every day to be in recovery, because they know that if they get to a point where it's like, I'm not going to need to choose today, you always get to choose, right? Marta said, such poignant timing for me as my husband and I embark on a 5-year plan in which he retires and I become the sole breadwinner for the family. Powerful, excited feelings. Also really easy to toggle into fear. Yeah. Yeah. And so, Marta, I have a really good practice that I will share in the graduate space for those of you. So one of the things that I do for the women who've worked with me in my foundational program is we do monthly Q&A calls, even after they're done, and with my several weeks of working with me, because I want to have a community of women who, keep coming back together every month for a live Q&A, because transformation is a lifelong process, right? It's not like I'm done, I arrived, I'm sober, I'm all fixed, right? And so anyway, Marta, I have something that I'll share with you in the graduate space, and I'll speak to it here in this space. One of the things that's really important when you recognize that you have fear coming up is to do a fear inventory, right? And so you can look at, what am I really afraid of, right? So I've gone through my stages of being the breadwinner for the family, and I know many of you in here have. And so to really sit down and look at, I'm afraid of being the breadwinner because I might not be able to do it, because I might not be good enough, because I might not be able to pay the mortgage, because I might be a fraud, because I might be really powerful, because I might make so much money that I want to leave my husband, because I mean, go through all the fears, do a deep fear inventory, right? I think of it lately, I've been thinking about this as shimmering your shadow, right? How it is that we see our shadow. Many of you in here know what shadow work is. It's looking at the fear, the darkness that you don't want to see. The only way you see it is if you shine light on it. And the way you shimmer that shadow is by sitting down with your journal and writing out all those fears. So that's a starting point. And then you can transmute that through some other practices. But you have to have a practice of being willing to see it, because if you aren't willing to look at your fear, what happens is your fear is going to dominate you. Your fear is going to take over. When I try to hide my fear and I put it back here, it doesn't go anywhere. And man, your fear will rule you. And so having, it's one of the reasons why it's valuable to have a mentor, a healer, somebody who you work with, a guide, a coach, someone who can hold that space for you to pull out that fear, so you can look at that fear and say, fear, I see you. I see you, fear. Okay. And it's not because it's me against the fear. It's because I'm going to shine light on that fear, not in the spiritual bypass way, but in a real sober way, to see it and to see it every day. So some of the advanced students who I'm working with, I have them do a practice where they are writing down their fear every single day. And then your fear gets kind of boring, because it's like, yeah, I know this. I've been writing this for 2 weeks. Like, whatever, right? So having a process to be with, so that you can toggle back authentically to an emotional state that's elevated. Nancy says default mode is definitely an addictive process. Yeah, default is powerful, right? It holds us. It's why we keep going back there. And it's, I think it's one of the biggest get-tos of being alive, is seeing where it is that all of us, and me too, where I toggle back. I can toggle back over and over and over again to those old worn pathways. And I always am in different communities. I always have different mentors and coaches, because they will show up something that I don't get to see in me, not because I need to be a project for myself, not because I'm broken, but because I get to be in this life and fully become who it is that I'm here to be, right? I get to fully unfold and embrace that. And a lot of that is unlearning. It's, shedding. Andrea says, come on out of the shadows, fear. Totally. Come on, fairy. Yeah, often we don't have to go hunting for it. It's like right there. Justine says, if you're someone who can get caught up in fear, do you recommend another practice to get back out of it? Gratitude journaling or something? Great question, Justine. So here's the thing. I mean, I love gratitude journaling. Gratitudes are definitely something that I suggest for my students who I work with, that it's less of a thinking thing. Again, what's really important is to get less about the thinking and more about the energy frequency. It's teaching your cells, your body, it's retraining your body to feel a sense of ease, of open heart. I keep doing this because it's like open-heartedness, right? It's a relaxed face. Teaching this body, because many of us have trained this body to do this, right? Like, right? And so I would say if you tend to be somebody in your head, less about gratitude journaling and more about living gratitude. Again, I think this is what's different in what I do than what is taught in other places, is it's all about being embodied, right? So there's a lot of information that I will share with you when I work with women, but then it's you live it, you be gratitude. How do I be gratitude today if I'm feeling under the weather and my partner, didn't put the laundry, take out my delicates and stuck them in the dryer, and I'm annoyed by that, and the dog's throwing up or whatever. Like when normal life is happening, how do I be in an emotional state of gratitude, not in a bypassy way, right? And when I say bypassy, I mean not in a way where it's like, okay, everything's fine, and I'm all like up here in my head, but like I'm really gonna get into the muck of my own heart and being and feel the gratitude for being alive, while I also, this is another thing I teach, I'm going on today, this is longer than I intended, while I feel the feelings of annoyance. So I can anchor my heart in a state of gratitude while I feel annoyance. And then I can engage in a practice to process my annoyance through movement, through journaling, through dance, through art, through expression, through song, through all kinds of things, right? So Marta said, would love for my fear to feel boring. Could we all please? Fear is so 2021. Could we just get over fear? Really, we're kind of totally addicted to fear, people. It's really zapping our power. So the most important thing right now is your frequency focus. Okay. And it's not about controlling your frequency. It's not about strong arming it. It's about finding that elegant space internally where you can toggle in to that state. You can feel it in your being. You can do a visualization, feel the color of that frequency. You can feel it percolate all through your body. And then be that. And as you be that, you are intending that for the people around you, right? You're intending that grace, that love. You're intending that relaxation, that ease. And then there is practice around shifting your words and inviting conversation in new ways with your beloved and all kinds of things, right? That's the technical stuff. That's what I work with women on for 2.5 months. But first start with your focus of your frequency. So thank you so much for being here. If you're here on replay, #replay, and please post any comments, feedback, questions that you might have. I love reading your comments. I love having you all here. If you are interested in engaging in my now 10-week program, I am still offering 2021 pricing through the end of the month. So would love to have a DM conversation with you, see if you're a fit. It's important for me to ensure that you're the best fit for what I do so we can get you the outcome that you're wanting. So shoot me a DM and we'll have a conversation. And if you're a good fit, we'll get you started immediately. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Sending you so much high frequency. Today, my frequency is deep gratitude and appreciation. So see you soon. Thanks again for being here. Bye-bye.